How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
the Bride of Frankenstein. She's alive! Alive!
A monster created from cadavers out of rifled graves. A tale that sent my blood into icy creeps.
Would you like to hear what happened after that?
Well, we warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Thom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and this is minute 70 of Bride of Frankenstein, where we raise the cosmic diffuser.
Pretorius says it, it's almost like Henry forgot to.
I guess
Pretorius
so.
tells him to, and then he sort of scuttles back over to where he just left seconds before.
Come on, raise the cosmic diffuser.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Well, he's got to raise the cosmic diffuser, otherwise when they tip the table up, she's going to smack her head on the cosmic diffuser, which would be hilarious.
It would be hard to get the diffuser bands off as well.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
He also moves the nebularium out of the way.
Right.
He says, raise the cosmic diffuser, then when Henry goes to do that, he moves the nebularium.
Yeah.
Potentially also could smack her in the head. I don't know.
Now, wouldn't the diffuser bands be hot as fuck after having all that electricity through them?
You know,
unless they're like aluminum, maybe.
I was going to say, I've taken to using an aluminum foil in a lot of things that cooking in the oven, and that aluminum foil cools off really quick. Really convenient.
Makes good hat too.
That's true. The heavy duty aluminum foil is especially nice. Mm-hmm. Go with the Dreadstone novelization.
Was that a reference to something I wasn't getting, or
no?
Okay, just thought it was funny.
I just noticed the heavy duty aluminum foil and said I recommend that as well.
Okay,
yeah, and a key. I noticed you could see his key. I think it was his car key. Anyway, the hand moves, and it's Pretorius and Henry. The music completely stops.
Cuts out
and
completely.
Henry and Pretorius look at each other, and neither one of them yells, "It's alive."
Not yet.
Unlike the first time, when that was all we needed. Was
the hand moving. Yeah, well, and apparently
which could be galvanism, right?
It could be, as I said. When you shoot that much electricity through a body,
we probably covered this.
The extremities will move. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't know yet it's alive.
Apparently not. So then they move back to the head.
Gather around the head.
I concede is the direction I would travel if I'm going to determine if something's alive.
yeah.
I wouldn't run to the feet.
Yeah.
To see, is she wiggling her toes?
Well, sometimes when somebody's been in a coma, that's one of the first things they will do when they come out of it is wiggle their toes.
Amazing.
And they'll often test for like paralysis by trying to get someone to wiggle their toes.
Wow. Huh. Okay.
So it's not completely preposterous.
All right. Well, like I said, this is what I would do. Never mind what you would do. I would go towards the head.
But then again, I play a doctor on TV, so
I forgot about that. She moans.
They exchange a glance, and then she moans, and he's like a 3-year-old at Christmas.
Totally.
He lights up like a Christmas tree.
Yes.
Just,
Yep. It's the only time he looks like that in the movie, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. He's just
glee,
thrilled beyond...
childish glee. Yep. Open mouth, childish glee.
And Henry looks a little more trepidatious, I guess. Or
nothing at this point, despite...
Not as thrilled as you would think he would be.
Despite his reaction to the slightest motion of Karloff's hand in the first one, he's totally gonna hold off.
We're gonna ride this out.
I wonder if there's any meaning to that. Probably not, because it didn't turn out well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't just a resounding success, despite how he may have felt initially.
Well, that's why I have some notes coming up.
Well, now he knows what it feels like to be God. So maybe it's
when you've done it,
used to it.
It's like committing murder. You've done it once, second time, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's my contention that even the second one is hard.
Third
one, there's a real steep drop off. It's like, come on, not even. It's like Carl going off the roof.
Acknowledge it
for our Canadian friends.
Then they exchange their glances. Like we said, Pretorius excited. Henry still got his mouth kind of drawn back.
Mm-hmm. I have something here from the Edgermont. I don't know if to say it now. I might as well throw it in now.
Let's do it now.
The doctor unclamped the symbol-like plates and while Franz grasped one of the figure's hands, Pretorius grasped the other. Their eyes met across the bandaged body.
And they fell in love.
Totally. In the doctor's was triumph, in Franz's something not so easily analyzed. Like, the Edgermont is full of stuff where you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is that? Where did that come from? Where's Henry?
Where's Henry? What? Very bizarre.
Why is Franz there holding her hand? That
and
makes
what
no
is the
sense.
something not so easily analyzed? I mean, I guess we're to assume that means this is a bad thing. He's just now realized that something bad happened. So there's a strip of a bandage over. Do we have a thing we can call her? Is she the bride?
We've been referring to her as the bride.
Okay. Over the
credits
bride's-
call her the monster's mate, but that's kind of clumsy.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
The figure I notice in Edgermont, I just said it, is the figure. I kind of like the figure. It's like the shape from
Halloween.
From Halloween, yeah. And as we've noted ad infinitum, not sure if she's really the bride of Frankenstein in this film.
Yeah.
But this strip of bandages across her eyes, he just
Pulls it off like it's not
a Band-Aid.
fastened down. Yeah, it's like a Band-Aid.
Like
but
a
it's
Band-Aid,
got
and
safety
it has
pins in it.
Safety pins in it,
Yeah.
But there don't seem to be any. That's just for effect.
for looks.
She's
yeah,
just punk rock.
Yeah, exactly.
So they just pulls right off.
Well, that's why.
And in the script it says what?
Well, I still wear safety pins in my belt loops as sort of the final vestige of my punk rock past.
Punk rock roots past.
Yep.
Gosh, I don't think I ever really got. You're just
Considerably older, so that I went through.
considerably older now. Since your birthday a few weeks ago. By the way, happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Just if we haven't covered that enough.
Thanks a lot.
No, I don't even know what I was going to say. But the punk rock thing was something that I was you were probably in
junior high
when punk rock was hitting its height. And I was still in elementary.
Yeah, I would say 78, 79 here is when it really started to burst open. And I would have been in junior high.
I saw a video. There's a video that someone posted on Twitter that I was watching. I should have sent it to you. It's a guy clubbing in Minneapolis in 1981 on Channel 5 or something. It even says it's Martin Zeller, but I they don't say that in the clip that I saw. But he goes to First Avenue, and it's not even called First Avenue yet.
The Depot or Uncle Sam's?
It wasn't the Depot. He calls it Sam's.
Uncle Sam's. It was So
it was Sam's for a really short period.
Yeah, it was
of time,
Uncle Sam's through a good part of the 70s, and they had a cartoon painting of Uncle Sam doing the Nixon peace sign things on the sign on the front.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember that because
the
the Greyhound bus depot was across the street from it, and we'd go pick up my Uncle Julius every now and then at the bus depot. Whenever he would breeze into town and spread cash around, and exactly what you'd expect from an Uncle Julius.
Well, what I found remarkable, and this is the kind of the thing about not living through the history or seeing moments taken from history, is he goes to Sam's and then he goes to 7th Street Entry. So it was called 7th Street Entry even when it was
before
Sam's.
It was.
So I recognized 7th Street Entry because, well, this is 81. So a few years later, I'm hanging out there all the time. But at the time, it was fascinating. But it looks exactly the same as 7th Street Entry. Looks today.
It does, because it has not changed in
there's not enough
50
room to
years,
change it all.
Ever since it stopped being the bus terminal,
But you see the sign for Augie's?
Oh, is that right?
Is Augie's still there? Probably
I
is.
don't think it is.
You see a bunch of stuff. And Sheik's, I noticed, was another
Oh, really?
I remember
the
Sheik's.
upscale strip club.
Anyways. All I seem to talk about on this is the strip clubs. That's the only things I remember.
Okay.
Cut that part out, please.
So he pulls the bandage away, and there's a big.
He pulls it away. But in the script, I was just going to say, in the script it says Henry feverishly begins to unwind the bandages from of
one and done.
Nope, it's like a Band-Aid. Yeah.
Well, there's a big close up.
And now
of her
Henry
eyes
says something
with a blaring sting of music,
and the music comes back. Yeah, it's an odd choice.
That might be
the music is an odd choice.
That might be a little much because it's
I don't know if the music is telling me
to worry about.
Yeah. It seems like it's something to worry about. The music is trying to scare me there.
And that's when Henry says, she's alive, and
Henry has gone fully over to the dark side.
I don't know, because I still think
it's no longer about.
I still think there's a little touch of. It's not euphoria like it certainly was in 31.
Yeah, that's a good point. He definitely doesn't lose
There's
it
a little.
like that.
It's just a slight bit of shit.
In the script, he says, "She lives. She is alive."
Yeah, which
is just awful.
Lame.
In the Dreadstone, For a moment, her eyes rolled, unfocused and uncoordinated. Then a mind grasped them from within. They steadied. Their depths gazed up at Frankenstein, who gasped in awe. She lives, he whispered, in mingled dread and wonder at the eyes. She lives. I don't know why.
Why wouldn't you have? Yeah,
it's iconic.
It is totally an iconic line, and I do like though how I did make a note of how he talks about the eyes trying to focus and find their way, because in Shelley the monster talks quite a bit about that after he is born, of not being able to see very well for a while and getting his eyes to adjust to light and things like that.
Yeah. Her eyes rolled, unfocused and uncoordinated.
Yeah.
Then a mind grasped them from within.
Yeah, I like that.
That's cool. In the Edgermont, Henry bent over the figure and removed the bandage from its eyes. For a long second, he stood motionless, gazing down at those clear blue eyes. Then he whispered, "She's alive. Alive."
Whispering,
there's a lot of whispering in these. Everybody wants him to whisper it, except Whale. And even after the fact, these guys writing these novels.
Yeah. Did you not see the film that you're writing about?
It's not really a whisper. I gotta say, there's a part of me that wishes Pretorius had said it, though.
Oh,
I kind of think it'd be cool if he went, "She's alive," because then he could bring that mania,
that joy that Henry doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they rush to the corner, where her head is, the corners of the table, undo the chains that were holding it upright, tilt it down.
Well, they do the diffuser bands
I already
first.
talked about that. They do that before she.
But you already talked about that. I actually found there's a type of diffuser.
Oh, well, go
I was
ahead.
going to talk about, because if you Google, we talked about
Cosmic diffuser.
Cosmic diffuser. If you Google that, you're going to find these diffusers. There's also a diffuser band. So if you Google diffuser band, you're going to find they're bracelets called diffuser bracelets. So if you're that kind of person that you want your essential oils to diffuse throughout the day, and you can have the aroma
patchouli
throughout
oil
the day, there's a kind that's also just called a band. So it's a bracelet that's like it looks to me like a big rubber band. I don't have one, but if you want to buy a diffuser band, there's plenty of places that'll sell you something called a diffuser band. And it doesn't have anything to do with Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay.
That's why, of course, I'm talking about it. That's what I bring to Frankenstein Minute.
Yeah.
Talking about things that are not in any way related.
Got anything about King Kong?
I got no King Kong stuff this week.
Okay.
No, this week I'm going to talk about a film called Son of Kong.
Okay.
Now, in Son of Kong, so then they take the chains off, as you said,
tilt,
and then
tilt the table up so that
it looks really uncomfortable. It's clearly not a dummy.
It's not a dummy anymore. Yeah, no, this is now the actress playing the part.
Yep, and it's
because you see her eyes for one thing.
Yes, and it looks
just,
really uncomfortable and possibly dangerous unless she's strapped down, which I assume she is actually.
I would hope so. Otherwise, she's got a lot of muscle control to lay there still while it's.
Yeah, that's true.
Good potentiality for sliding off and cracking your skull on the floor.
It's really theatrical, and I don't know if theatrical is the right word. It's just they pose everything.
Yeah, I think it is.
They bring the table forward.
I think it is because the music swells, the camera pushes forward.
And Thesiger and Clive take their positions. They almost look like they're taking their positions, in one shot.
And
then they cut to another shot where they're in
yeah.
roughly those same positions, but it's more of a close-up, so we can watch her lift her arms.
Mm-hmm.
It's working for me.
It is theatrical.
It's
borderline operatic, maybe.
Ah, I like it. Yeah.
With the music being as big as it is, and I think in the next minute, there's even more of that.
Yes, and I think it's effective, but we'll talk about that next week.
Next week.
And weeks going forward. We don't have many weeks coming forward.
No, there's only 5 more weeks of this.
That's right. And then it's on to Barsky's favorite.
2 years of Son of Frankenstein.
A favorite of mine as well.
I don't dislike it, but there are some big issues to be dealt with.
We can Mystery Science Theater it minute by minute.
There we go.
That'll be how we do with that one. And then it's Ghost after that,
which really needs a Mystery Science Theater treatment.
I go back and forth. We'll see how I feel about it when we do it minute by minute. I think
at least that one moves pretty swiftly.
It really does, yeah. And I think
and, for its short running time, a lot transpires.
Yeah,
it's like the House films too. They just shoot. They're both clocking in at just over an hour, so they go pretty fast.
And I think that's what we're gonna probably find generally is the next couple of years things might slow down a bit. It's going to take a little bit longer to get to the point of some of these scenes. I shouldn't be anticipating it too far in advance. We've still got a few weeks of Bride of Frankenstein. We should be celebrating James Whale's masterpiece, and we will.
Absolutely. So the minute ends with her. She outstretches her arms and then promptly collapses.
Oh, does she collapse in this minute?
No, but she starts to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she starts to, which Karloff did in Frankenstein too. Just after the hand moved, it slumps down.
Interesting. I like that.
Even as Clive is yelling it's alive, he can't be 100% certain that it still is.
Yeah. This is a little bit more. Well, even now we haven't seen anything like you say that wouldn't be. I don't know, galvanism.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just muscle memory movement.
Not a lot's going to happen overall, to be honest.
Well, I think the eyes being open and. For such an iconic figure, she's in the movie a very, very brief amount of time. And it really doesn't do a whole lot, you're right. But it's a huge impact on pop culture. Because you say to anyone, the Bride of Frankenstein, and you're going to picture the hairdo and all of that. So, nothing has supplanted that image. Again, like Karloff's monster, nothing has come along to top that.
Yeah.
When they do Universal Monsters stuff, on the packaging and whatever, she's there along with Frankenstein monster, Dracula, the Mummy, the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon. So she is always considered. And they do toys. One just came out a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Figure of the Bride of Frankenstein.
I'm sorry, laughing that you said a couple months ago because we recorded this in advance. But yeah, I guess probably about a couple months ago now. I didn't get it. Do you like it? It's good?
Yeah, it's nice. Other than it's bright green.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. She's bright green. Oh, no.
The monster, the Karloff monster that they put out is more of like a, I don't know, sort of a sage green, so it's more subtle.
Okay.
So that's it looks a little bit more dead.
Yeah,
which is
I can see that.
It's okay. It's not this lime green that seems to be the popular choice.
You know what you're doing is you're making me think it's great to think that for us we get to spend a month talking about her because she's on the as you say on screen. She's not in the series. She's not
next 5 minutes
part of this film series. She's got a few minutes and then we don't even talk about her ever again.
5 minutes tops, and there's no mention of any of this. No mention of Pretorius going forward at all.
That's something maybe we should talk about when we get to Son of Frankenstein. Is there even anything at all in this movie that is referenced ever again? Anything at all? No, I don't think so. You can just cut this one out. And in fact, I have sympathy for people. You're in monster groups on Facebook. I joined a bunch of them when we started the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I mentioned this last few weeks ago, but you do get people that say this is their least favorite film in the series. And I can actually see that. If you're a big fan of this series, it's not the same as the rest of them. The rest of them are monster movies.
No, it's certainly not. This is a
film.
They're all wrong. They're all dunces, but I can see their point.
Yeah, the tone of it is it doesn't necessarily match. You can go from
not at all.
And maybe even just take the whale films out, and then it maybe matches better.
So you take Frankenstein out altogether?
No, I suppose not.
Because I think
that one's more of a monster
that could
movie.
Flow to Son more so
maybe
than
a little
this
better.
does. But this is clearly our favorite because when we did our Karloff top 10, this was both of our number one.
Yeah, my opinions change. Maybe once we get deep into the Son of Frankenstein, I'll change my mind.
Yeah, because you dissed Dracula for a long.
Son was already my number 3.
You dissed Dracula for a long time, and then when we did the commentary, all of a sudden it's the greatest film ever made. So.
No, my take was just more that the Spanish Dracula isn't a complete improvement.
Oh no, I agree, but it's far too talky, and I'd say that about both of them. But the Spanish one is even more so because it's more dialogue. But it moves better, it plays better. People don't walk around like they're underwater.
I guess you're right. Well, Mina is a joy in that one.
Yeah, she's great, and Helen Chandler just completely leaves me cold.
Well, yeah, and in Dracula, if you're a fan of Bela Lugosi's performance of Dracula, which I am, and I think you aren't as much, then that's a highlight. But if you don't like it, it's a bummer. You got a lot. It's a haul. It's a slog if you don't like it.
No, it is a chore, and there are many times where I've fallen asleep watching it, and I rarely fall asleep watching movies.
Okay.
All right. So there we are.
So there you go. Bride of Frankenstein, minute 70.
We're careening towards the climax.
It's a good one. I recommend it.
70.
Thumbs up on 70. We'll see if 71
can even compare.
Can compare to the height of minute 70.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Follow us on Facebook. Are you going to hit stop?
I am.
Okay.